God establishes and refines your identity as you accept His sovereign authority in the now and here. Let me say that. God establishes and refines your identity as you accept His sovereign choice over your life in the here and now. How does this work? It works this way. If you're a student, study well in this moment and now. That's what God is calling you to do. If you're a leader, lead well. If you're a homemaker, make your home the best place in the world to be in. If you're an employee, excel in everything that's assigned to you now. If you're a husband and a wife and a daughter or a son, build a godly home together with the love of Jesus, the dignity of God, and the leadership of God. If you're a middle-aged person, if you're an elderly person, age gracefully. Age gracefully. With love, care, dignity for Christ, who can be Lord and King of your hearts and homes. Colossians 3 chapter 23. And whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord, not to men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive a reward of the inheritance, for you serve the Lord Jesus Christ in your life in the here and now. Yes, you have earthly bosses. Yes, we have those authority structures, but ultimately God is sovereign over your life and He's calling you in the here and now. God develops character in the gracing field for David. And this acceptance of identity is the foundation. One more. God blesses David with a joyful and obedient heart. This joyful obedience is something that's missing with many Christians. Oh, we are obedient. Yes, lawfully we have to obey. Therefore, forcefully we obey. There's a various other ways in which we obey, forced to obey, because it's just become very mundane and legalistic. Therefore, we obey. But joyful obedience, in the chapter you heard read in verse 17 to 20, this is how it reads. Then Jesse said to his son David, take now for your brothers an ephah of dried grains and then 10 loaves, and run up to your brothers at the camp. And the verse goes on to explain what David did. David's attitude was that of joyful obedience in the little things his father asked to do. What was his father asking to do? May I put it in paraphrased today's language? Be a courier boy. Go give this to your elder brother. Take the tiffin box, go give it. Dey konja vela senjittu kaigari kondu poi kodu. Simple language. That doesn't look like king's material, right? That doesn't look like a king in the making. But here's a joyful obedience of David. How do I know it? Right down in verse 20 of that chapter, you read that the next thing that David did was David rose early in the morning and left. David rose early there was no complaint. Dad, why Dad? Aren't those fellows big? Send someone else. Aren't you rich? Send your servants. No, none of that. Dad said, I did. This joyful obedience is a beginning for us to know our own hearts, even if it is lunchbox delivery. Whatever lunchbox you are delivering, whatever menial job God has asked you to do in your current here and now, there's joyful obedience, which is the foundation. You see, every time you compare and compete with another person, it only leaves you with complaining. It never leads you to understand God's heart and to find joy in doing the little things you are bestowed with the here and now. If you're asked to come to practice in the choir, come to practice prepared with notes and sing. If you're in a band, get to practice and to perform something, to bring to God the best of quality, because He is God who deserves the best. So this is how it worked in David. So God wanted in David to develop a loving responsibility for the kingship, righteous courage for the kingship, spirit-filled resistance, strength that is dependent on God. All of this are different ways in which I'm saying those that things are pure, noble, courageous, virtuous. All of those matter for a king, a leader. God is looking for to represent his heart in this world. And so here is how it works. When David was asked to go, you spot the way he did it. A good lesson for us. In verse 20, we read, so David rose up early in the morning, left the sheep with the keeper. Hold on a minute. His father asked, go give food for your brothers. There was no mentioning of taking responsibility of the existing role that you've been given. But David was about 10 to 15 in that time when this passage was written. David rises up early, finds a person to take care of his existing responsibility. That's a quality of leadership. That's a quality of leadership. God is looking for somebody who will take responsibility of those tiny little things that the world considers insignificant, but because God has put it in your hand in the here and now, to take it with seriousness. The ability to take responsibility over things that God has given to him is showcased here. Find a keeper, explain his absence, give him the charge over things to do, then move forward to take care of his responsibility. That right there is how God shapes David for a bigger responsibilities on his shoulder. Someday, this man will be put over a large nation to take care. This matters. This character that God builds in the grazing field matters for him at the palace, and God chooses to build these characters at the grazing fields of our lives.